if you were to get a windfall, whether it's an inheritance, I don't know, maybe you hit the lottery, you get $50,000. Do you recommend if somebody wants to go ahead and pay off their loans, they could be in the middle of it, paying that or still strategically breaking that up and paying a little bit, like you said on your GPS, the way you guys have your program set up? I just wonder, like initially, what would you?
The initial answer is if you got a big windfall paying off the mortgage, absolutely not. Never, ever, 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 ever take your money that you could actually be making money with. And listen, wait a second here. Let me put something on the screen here. And you want to know what your effective interest rate is. Okay. All right. So listen, I don't show this one every day. So everybody, you definitely want to see this particular example on what we're talking about, because see, there's a certain point at which more is too much. You start to violate the law of diminished return. When I put some money on, I want to get the maximum amount of interest saved per dollar. Once you put more on than you should, then that amount of money that you can save per dollar starts to go down. You don't save as much per dollar. Okay. So if you know the right amount, then you're looking at taking the rest of that money and putting it into an investment. Okay. So I've got on the screen an investor right here in this area. It's got $2 million worth of loans. Okay. Let me see if we break it down here. If you look down here over to the right, you'll be able to see mortgages at $1,389,000, and here's another mortgage for $846,000. Okay, so it's got two mortgages in here. Now, the amount of interest that the bank wants, all right, on this loan is right here on these two loans, $1,123,195. Okay, $1,123,195 right there. The amount of interest that this gentleman is going to end up paying is only $231,468. That's a 79% reduction in interest. Okay. So what interest rate would he need to pay his loan in the fashion that the bank would love him to pay the loan, just making the minimum payments every month? What interest rate would he need to be able to only pay $231,000? It's right here. You would need an interest rate of 0.067% to pay this little interest on a new 30-year loan, or in this case, a 25-year loan. So if you can borrow money at 0.67%, sir, and you got a lump sum of money, would you take that money and pay off a loan that you could get at 0.67% interest? Or would you put that money in investment?
Not, because it's so low, it doesn't really even affect you that much.
So you would be doing something else with your windfall, right?
Right, because you can put that into any solid stock or investment and definitely get more than 1%.
This is what we're talking about. If we are looking at just paying off a loan fast, we will make a mistake. We need to pay a loan off cheap and do it in a way that we're not violating the law of diminished return. Once we get that point where you're saving the maximum amount of you can per dollar at a certain period of time, any more money than that should go towards wealth creation while you're figuring out the exact amount that goes to debt elimination. And that process is called critical point analysis. Critical point analysis. What is the point at which I start to lose money when I do a particular action? And when you start to lose money, you know when to stop. But if we don't have a way to measure, there may be some engineers in the audience today, and they all know you can't optimize what you can't measure. And when it comes to lending, we're taught not to measure. So does this make sense to you?
Makes perfect sense to me.
Listen, folks, if you are getting value out of this room, please put a number 1 in the chat. Put a number 1 in the chat, because listen, we love giving this kind of information out. So do you have any other questions for me?
I do not. I guess I like this chart. I was going to see if it's on your page, but other than that.
Oh, you can get one.
That's pretty much it. I do appreciate it, Don. It's been a great help to me, and thank you for answering my question.
Well, listen, can I show you one last piece of this?
Sure.
Because his loans, all right, his loans are $2,236,000. Okay. This is an office building and he makes about $41,000 a month on these two buildings, 41 grand. Okay. His mortgage payment is only 14,000. He wasn't paying attention because he was making 41 and paying out 14. He wasn't paying attention to the amount of interest he was paying. We showed him a way to save a lot of interest without using the monies that he's earmarked for other investments. Follow me so far?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So by saving, here's the amount of interest that he's saving. $891,000 in interest saved. $891,000 in interest saved. By doing that, and he was supposed to be out of debt in a certain amount of time. We're going to have him out of debt a lot sooner, like 4.9 years instead of 21.9 years. In the 17 years he would have been in this debt, we're going to show him how to take that money and turn it into, over 17 years, how much? Over $9 million. He's going to be able to make with the money he used to give away to the bank and just chalk it up as the cost of doing business. This is what we're talking about. And this is a seasoned investor here in my area, but he wasn't taking advantage of saving the interest cost on these loans. Now he is. So thank you for bringing this up. Thank you for asking the question that gave me an opportunity to show this chart. And everyone that becomes a client gets this chart. Because once you become a client, this becomes a legal document that we have to meet or exceed these numbers, or you get all of your money back. No questions asked, no restrictions, nothing off. You get 100% of the money back that you paid if we can't meet or exceed these numbers. So there's no risk at all for anyone. And this is why over the last 16 years on our Better Business Bureau, we have received absolutely zero complaints. Zero complaints. You know, people love to complain. They will complain faster than they will give you a positive recommendation. They'll complain faster. No complaints, because we want to make sure. This is why we don't allow people just to come in and buy our program. They have to go through a process to figure out if the program is going to be right for them. And if it's right for them, we'll offer it. But if it's not right for them, we won't offer it. There you go, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But Don has some valuable information that can contribute to the quality of a person's life. And it only costs you a few dollars. It's his book. Why not get that?
I'm going to go through the P.I.L.L method myself with some of my investment properties. So I'm going to link up with Don, and then I'm going to sit down with him, show him my investment portfolio, and see how I can eliminate interest.